And with our opening festivities done, we are here for opening day baseball on MLB The Show. I'm Slayer Mathis, here to present your Brewers opening day broadcast against the Chicago Cubs down south of the state border. Always good to start off the year of baseball, and it's always good to have this go against a rival here in cool Lakeside, Chicago. Of course, late March, weather not exactly the best, but as we look at some of the preseason projections for your Milwaukee Brewers, the Brewers expected to be really leading off with Willie Adames, projected to lead in average and OPS. Luke Voigt projected for home runs, Willie Adames in RBIs, and Christian Yelich in both steals and WAR. Of course, these are preseason predictions before lineups were fully set. Voigt, in fact, not actually having any opening day starting position. So right now, Marcus Stroman and the Cubs take the field here at Wrigley, getting ready for opening day baseball. Stroman, a long-time ace pitcher, formerly of the Toronto Blue Jays. Check out his last year's statistics: 3.5 ERA, 1.15 whip. Stroman, a very strong start to his Chicago Cubs career in this past season. Of course, Stroman, former Blue Jay, drafted out of Duke in 2012, traded to the Mets in 2019, signed as a free agent with the Cubs for the 2022 season, is now Bryce Terang will be taking the first pitch of this season for the Milwaukee Brewers. Stroman kicks and sets, and the strike gets our season started. A cutter right in there. Bryce Terang, the first round pick out of Santiago High School in 2018 by the Brewers. Terang, part of the very good young core that the Brewers have on tap here. Second pitch by Stroman, swung at that low sinker. Very good positioning. Terang maybe a little bit in front of it. Of course, this year looking to be a big one for both teams, both with a lot of proof deals, as Terang pops it high up into the air, sailing out into left, and it will be caught for the first out. Now we look at the Brewers lineup: Terang, Yelich, Contreras, Adames, Tellez, Winker, Anderson, Mitchell, and Tyrone Taylor. A couple of new faces to the Brewers here: Contreras, Winker, and Anderson, all in their first years with the Brewers. Terang and Mitchell getting some of their first showings in the majors as well. Meanwhile, Christian Yelich sets in. Stroman with the pitch, and Yelich going to take that low sinker for a strike. Yelich, the former MVP back in 2019. This was second in MVP voting to the current Cub, Cody Bellinger, in 2020, as the second pitch will be inside. That cutter for Yelich. Yelich right there. We can see two batting titles in 2018 and 19. Two of his three Silver Slugger seasons, as Stroman pitching out. That ball is nailed deep into center. Bellinger going back onto the wall, and Bellinger leaning up against the ivy for the catch. Bellinger, the longtime Dodger, now signing with the Cubs this past offseason, making that catch against his former MVP rival. And a good play there by a good hit by Yelich, but a better catch by Bellinger, as Contreras will take a ball on his first one. William Contreras, an international free agent by the Braves back in 2015. The brother of former Cubs catcher, current St. Louis Cardinals catcher, Wilson Contreras. William himself, a 2022 All-Star. Just last year, signing as being an All-Star for the Braves. It's right there, a sinker low for the 2-1 count. Contreras was acquired by the Brewers in a 3-team deal this past offseason, as Stroman kicks and fires that pitch low, but very easily inside. Mark Contreras for the 2-2 count. Contreras, part of the Sean Murphy trade this past offseason, as now swing it high, and it'll go foul. Nice souvenir for the fans out on the third baseline. Now Contreras going to be taking a few warm-ups. Stroman, not exactly the most overpowering pitcher in terms of speed, but right there, the slider will punch out Contreras. A very nice performance in the first inning by Marcus Stroman. That'll do it for him, as now Nico Horner, Ian Happ, and Dansby Swanson preparing for the Brewers pitcher, their ace. Coming up in Corbin Burnes. Corbin Burnes, a former Cy Young, just 2 years prior in 2021. All-Star last year as well, with the under 3 ERA, a very elite performance right there. Now Nico Hoerner steps in. First round pick in 2018 out of Stanford, quickly made his appearance in the show just 1 year after being drafted. Pitch and set, shipped foul on the circle change there. Hoerner, not the greatest track record against Burnes, but not many people do have a great track record against Burnes. Burnes, the 5-pitch arsenal. Now, setting up. Second pitch, and that'll be swung and foul right back into the dugout. Burnes, the fourth round pick, in 2016 out of St. Mary's College. The former St. Mary's Gale is right there. Cutter will go high for a ball. Burnes, a very strong pitcher, but had a little bit of a slow start to his career with a 8.82 ERA in his second full season, rather. Right there. 3-2 count to Hoerner. Hoerner swinging it, and that will go foul. Hoerner, a very solid piece of the Cubs the past few seasons, as that one will go foul. Hoerner, a decent utility piece with a pretty good, just a very good all-around piece. Of course, the Cubs hoping for some all-star projections is right there, fouling off the curveball. Hoerner so far making Burnes work for this out, going into the 9th pitch of the at-bat. And Hoerner will draw the walk on 9 pitches. Very nice job fouling off a few of those 2 strike counts. And now, Speedy Hoerner on first base for Ian Happ. It's right there, ball just on the corner. Ian Happ, an all-star last year for the first time, received MVP votes back in 2020 and Rookie of the Year votes in his rookie season, 2017. It's right there, strike on the inside against Happ. Happ, formerly a Cincinnati Bearcat, drafted 9th overall in 2015. Seems like he's just starting to really come into his groove. Of course, with that all-star season last year, is now the pitch by Burnes. Chipped up, and that will be easily caught by Adames, ranging onto the outfield grass. Very good performance there as we look at the Cubs starting lineup. Nico Hoerner, Ian Happ, Dansby Swanson, Patrick Wisdom, Christopher Morel, Seiya Suzuki, Cody Bellinger, Trey Mancini, Yan Gomes rounding out the lineup as we come on to the former #1 overall draft pick in Dansby Swanson. Burnes. Pitch, slider inside. Swanson not swinging at that. Swanson, very solid year last year. His last year with the team that really saw his rise to prominence in the Atlanta Braves. Now Burnes checking in for the 0-2 count. Swing and a miss. Swanson starting off his Chicago Cubs career, signed as a free agent this past offseason. It's part of a very big and what a lot of people are considering an all-time terrible trade for the Diamondbacks. He was the first overall pick in 2015. The Vanderbilt Commodore traded for Shelby Miller, with the long-time Brave Ender Inciarte also joining the squad is right there. He'll take the low curveball for a 1-2 count. And fouling one off. Burnes really getting worked here in this first inning. 17 pitches so far on the docket with only 1 out. Now the 1-2 pitch. Swanson taking that for a ball. Cutter just a little bit too inside for what Burnes I'm sure was aiming for. 2-2 count. Swanson received MVP votes in 2 of his seasons. It's right there. Curveball way outside. Burnes missing his spot there. Swanson with MVP votes in his 2020 season, as well as last year, his final one with the Braves, as he swings and misses, striking out on that high cutter. Corbin Burnes with his first strikeout of a hopefully another great season. Patrick Wisdom will check in to the batter's box. Cutter inside. Wisdom, the first round drafted by St. Louis, facing off against his former, another former St. Mary's Gale. With Burnes as a swing and a miss at a high curveball. Wisdom was traded to Texas in later on into his career back in 2019. Eventually played some minor league ball in Seattle, as right there the swing and foul off, and in the offseason prior to the 2020 season ended up signing, prior to the 2021 season, apologies, ended up signing with the Cubs and received some Rookie of the Year votes back in 2021. Patrick Wisdom had a very strong streak to begin his career, as now Burnes going to get fouled off again by Patrick Wisdom. The Cubs doing a very good job so far in this game of making Corbin Burnes work for every out. 26th pitch in the inning, as that one will be fouled away. We gotta think that Wisdom maybe a little bit upset at himself that he couldn't drive that in. Patrick Wisdom, a very strong home run hitter, as right there he'll swing and miss at the slider to end off the inning. Corbin Burnes gives up the walk, answers back with a pop-up and 2 straight strikeouts. Nothing doing there for the former Cy Young winner. As we move on to the top of the second inning, Willie Adames coming on to the batter's box. Adames traded to the Brewers back in 2021 during the trade deadline. Drew Rasmussen and J.P. Firestone ended up going to the Rays in that deal. Stroman dealing with the high four-seam fastball. And Adames part of another historic trade, part of the trade that sent David Price away from the Rays to the Tigers, as right there a check swing did not go around. Adames, a amateur free agent signing in 2012 for the Tigers. Going to the Rays, played some very good baseball there, and he'll foul that sinker off. Seen a few MVP votes in the season that he ended up getting traded to the Brewers. Had a very strong performance in that 2021 season as Stroman, 2-1 pitch. Will be right down the middle with the sinker. Adames not pulling the trigger. Adames still very young, 1 more year left of arbitration, so the Brewers hoping that he can be a piece for the future with the 27-year-old. Slider way outside. Adames will not swing at that. 3-2 count for Stroman. 18th pitch will be fouled off. Stroman managing to work through the Brewers a lot quicker than the Cubs were able to work through Corbin Burnes. Of course, you gotta think that's very hopeful for the Cubs. And Dave Ross is right there. The splitter strikes out Willie Adames. Fooled him low. The second strikeout on the day for Marcus Stroman is now Rowdy Tellez will come on to field for the Brewers. Tellez fouling off the slider. Acquired in a trade back in 2021 by the Brewers. Brewers Franchise and Trevor Richards coming over to Toronto, with Rowdy Tellez being the 30th round draft pick in 2013 out of Elk Grove High School. And Stroman maybe not getting a full grip on there. Will be way outside. Was a very strong home run hitter, hoping to really do well for the Brewers. He has done fairly well for the Brewers so far, around a 800 OPS in his career. It's right there, the sinker inside. He called for a ball. Tellez really bringing some good pop to the bat of the Milwaukee Brewers, as the pitch will be low. 3-1 count for Tellez. The Brewers, a little bit of a first base, not necessarily a logjam, but Luke Voigt signed in the offseason. Rowdy Tellez will be taking the full-time duties from Voigt. It's right there, swinging and missing at the splitter is Tellez. Marcus Stroman, very good with that splitter. He is someone who has received some Cy Young votes in the past is right there. Tellez will be walked on the outside sinker. Stroman, one of the better fielders in his time, suffered with a little bit of injury in the past. It's right there. The pitch to Winker will be in for a strike. Winker, a high school draft pick in the first round by the Cincinnati Reds back in 2012, and had a very good career out in Cincinnati. Former All-Star in 2021 before a trade to the Miami Marlins is Winker, driving it high and deep into the right field deck, and there it goes. The first at-bat with the Brewers for Jesse Winker ends up with a home run. A fantastic season right there. Just a great start to your career with a new team, Jesse Winker. A rough last year, but now that 398-foot bomb into right field, just on the foul line and barely managing to hop over the deck. 2-run shot for the former All-Star Jesse Winkers. Now Brian Anderson checking in.
Nope.
A low sinker there for Anderson. A former top draft pick, the former Arkansas Razorback, drafted in 2014 in the 3rd round by Miami, and had a very solid career out in Miami. However, the past few seasons has struggled a little bit. Last season only managing to grab a 657 OPS with the Marlins is right there. The outside slider will miss. Anderson was declined arbitration in this last year, ended up signing a 1-year deal with the Brewers, hopefully managing to prove himself. Right there, Showman managing to get the inside sinker. Tough play, but it will get Anderson out. That's really what those sinkers are designed to do. Sinker balls are designed to really get people to bat over the top of them. So right now, Garrett Mitchell will check in. So of course, getting a nice ground ball, very useful for those sinker ball pitchers, and Stroman really is an expert at that. As the pitch inside to Mitchell, the 2020 first-round draft pick out of UCLA for the Brewers. Not the only time he was drafted. Baseball players a lot of times will be drafted multiple times, refuse to sign. Was a 14th round draft pick in 2017 by the Athletics. Drafted out of high school, ended up going to UCLA. Now the former Blue Devil gets a cutter out on the inside, on the outside of the plate from Garrett Mitchell. Had some brief cup of coffee with the Brewers last year, as he'll strike out on that check swing. No appeal needed, but Jesse Winker really starting off his Brewers career with a bang. A 2-run shot just over the wall in right field to begin that Brewers career. As we come back to Corbin Burns going up against Christopher Morel. Morel, signed by the Cubs in the offseason, is right there. The curveball will bounce in and out. Morel, the recent signing for the Cubs, is right there. It's actually his debuted last year. It's a high pop-up. Will be easily caught by Terang. 2015 international free agent was Morel.
The right field.
Now we come on to Seiya Suzuki. Seiya Suzuki, one of a bevy of recent Japanese All-Stars to make the jump over to America. Suzuki will take that first ball. Signed just last year in the offseason for the Chicago Cubs. Is right there. He will get a hit right up the middle. Suzuki on base, the first base runner off of a hit that we have seen so far in this game. Suzuki, the former 5-time NPB All-Star with the Hiroshima Carp. and a very strong piece there. And speaking of strong pieces, Cody Bellinger checking in for the Cubs now. Bellinger, the former MVP, 4th round pick in 2013 out of Hamilton High School by the Dodgers, where he played his entire career up to this point. But after some big hitting struggles, is now signed with the Cubs in hopes of revitalizing his career. Is right there, the foul ball, a nice 100-mile-per-hour grounder. Now, Burns setting in. The inside. Bellinger, all-star in 2017 and 2019, both of which also saw him win other awards. 2017, the Rookie of the Year in the NL, while in 2019 was one of the few people all-time to win the MVP, Golden Glove, and Silver Slugger all in the same year. As Bellinger will chip that foul into the former first baseman, now moving into center field, where he has thrived. Of course, looking to thrive in hitting is right there. He will pop that up. Contreras will remove the mask and get the easy pop-out catch. That'll retire the former MVP. Of course, did briefly mention this prior. Pavelli and Galli, part of a famous MVP race. And some rare marketing by the MLB as Trey Mancini swinging on the first pitch, and Adames will toss it over to Terang, as that will do it. Brewers ready to go around for the second time through the order, but not quite yet as we move on to the third inning. 2-0 for your Milwaukee Brewers. Start off the top of the third with the 9-hitter Tyrone Taylor in right field. Taylor, the longtime Brewer, his 11th year in the Brewers system. Stroman going to throw a high slider.
Count 1-0.
The way out. The shift applied to Taylor. A 2nd-round pick in 2012 of Torrance High School. This baseball a little bit rare, and having so many high schoolers is right there. Opposite field hitting on that slider by Tyrone Taylor.
Now
Stroman, a ground ball pitcher right there, showing off the expertise as Taylor will come in onto first base. Off that, now the shift looks like it might be moving to a double play formation. Bryce Terang coming up for his second bat, popped up harmlessly into left field last time, and it looks like even less harm will be done in his second at bat. First pitch swinging on a sinker. 6-4-3 double play. Swanson to Horner, and over to Mancini, will do it. Stroman into a little bit of a concern with that no outs runner, but quickly getting out of it is now the former MVP Christian Yelich. Check back into the game. Slider up high. Yelich had that deep fly out to center, stretching Bellinger back all the way to the eye. Of course, that is something I always have to say about Wrigley, of course, being the Brewers fan that I am. Never really liked the Cubs, but Wrigley, of course, an iconic stadium. Ivy, one of the most unique features in all of baseball, is right there. Stroman checking in for pitch number 41. Bellinger swinging through the sinker on the outside. Stroman doing a very good job of keeping the ball away from Yelich, rather. It's right there. Some opposite field power. We grabbed a wide turn by Yelich, but he will harmlessly get back into first base. Fielding that in left is Yelich, standing on first for Contreras. So that was a huge trade in the offseason that brought Contreras over to Milwaukee. The Oakland Athletics continuing their fire sale in the offseason, sending out Sean Murphy, the longtime All-Star, over to Atlanta, of course with another catcher on board. Not much need for William Contreras, so we'll take that low sinker. Oakland A's receiving prospects, including Esteury Ruiz, one of the better prospects as part of the Josh Hader trade in last offseason, as Yelich on the move. The high throw will get Yelich in safely. Of course, we saw our preseason predictions say that Yelich was going to lead a team in stolen bases, and right there, living up the Brewers, looking to do a little bit of small ball. That's something I think is a big strength of this Brewers team, is their capability of small ball. A lot of speedy people on the base paths. Yelich, of course, not as fast as he was in his MVP season, is right there. A little bit of an excuse me swing by Contreras. Being harmlessly out. Move on to the bottom of the third inning. The Cubs also looking for their second time around the order. Yan Gomes, Nico Warner, Ian Happ will be taking the plate for Cubs. Yan Gomes coming in for the Cubs, the 10th round pick in 2009 out of Barry University. Is right there, a harmless slider will shove Yan Gomes off the plate. A foul right to the dugout. Gomes, the Brazilian-born player, was a long-time Cleveland Indian. Now Cleveland Guardian is right there. Curveball bounces in. Burns not having the greatest command of his curveball so far today is right there. Cutter looks like will be up and inside. That fastball, 94 miles per hour. Cutter, a very good strikeout pitch for a lot of pitchers. Of course, as the name implies, really cuts in at the last second. Is right there, just on the corner, but not quite enough for a ball. Cutter not necessarily as fast as a lot of other moves. It's Terang ranging over, throw to Burns, and a nice play by the rookie Bryce Terang, managing to cover quite a bit of ground there to get out the Cubs catcher. Now Corner will check in second at bat for the former Cardinal. The pitch right there, inside for that. Corbin Burns, of course, an elite pitcher at this point, but there's someone who was a little bit disappointing in his first few outings. I mentioned this briefly earlier on in the broadcast. It's right there, the high curveball just on the inside. Burns really managing to pull things together in around 2019. Really started to show just how good he, started to pull things together in 2020. 2019 was a very poor season. It's right there, a high fly ball. Mitchell ranging over and camping under it for the easy can of corn catch in center field. Corner retired. Burns speeding through a lot quicker in comparison to that first inning of work. First inning taking, what, 27, 26 pitches. Now just getting to as many in 2 more innings of work as Ian Happ will check in. Circle change on the outside. Burns, very strong pitcher here. Someone that the Cubs will have to worry about is the check swing. Not going around is Happ. Happ's someone that the Cubs are really going to look to build around for the future. As a swing and miss on the cutter, the 28-year-old Happ, and coming off of his first All-Star season. And that slider goes way past Contreras, way low on the slider. Cubs had a little bit of a rebuild, of course, famously won the 2016 World Series, and Happ just barely dodging out of the way of that slider, way inside from Burns. Burns breaking pitches, not having all too much control today, but the cutter is dicing up the Cubbies. As it's swing and a miss on the inside, Happ is retired as we head to the top of third. Corbin Burns pitching a gem despite that rough first inning in terms of pitch count. It's now Adames. We'll check in. Adames, a very good power hitting shortstop. The renaissance that we've seen in recent years is the rise of the power hitting shortstop is right there. Stroman right down the middle. Adames, gotta think that he's regretting not swinging at that. Never a more perfect pitch to swing at have you seen. Stroman right there, that low pitch inside. Adames managing to foul that away. Of course, the power hitting shortstop, really got to think that might have been popularized by Troy Tulowitzki back in his Rockies days. Right there, the sinker just on the outside. There's a risky pitch to not swing at. We're seeing it with a lot of people. Fernando Tatis, Trevor Story, Willie Adames. Just a number of the power-hitting shortstops right there. The slider fooling Adames incredibly well. We get a StatCast check-in powered by Google Cloud on that slider. 9 inches of break, that over 2,400 spin rate. Stroman with a devastating slider. There is a reason that Stroman is a former All-Star. Was the All-Star back in 2019. Ended up opting out of the 2020 season for COVID-related reasons. It's now Tellez. Checks in. Swinging low on the slider. Walked in his first plate appearance. Stroman, a top-tier defender back in his day, won the Golden Glove in 2017, where he also received Cy Young votes in his second-to-last full season as a Blue Jay.
Well, that's off the plate.
Slider inside for the fellow former Blue Jay and Rowdy Tellez. Was very different ends of the spectrum. They did both play together, however. Two former teammates, and that one is launched. No doubt about it, into right field. Rowdy Tellez mashing one deep, 107 miles per hour off the bat, 416 feet distance. Rowdy Tellez mashing it way out to right field. Stroman, the second of his 2 home runs given up to Les. This one is flying way out there. The pitch, I think, just hanging up a little bit too high, and Tellez just swinging for the fences. And that's what Tellez does. That big power from the big man. New souvenir for Cubs fans, even if they're a little bit upset by that. Of course, you can see it right there, right down the middle, is Winker, who homered in his first appearance. Will take the slider for a ball. Stroman struggling with this middle of the order for the northern rivals. And the Brewers, of course, Cubs rivals with the south side of Chicago White Sox. As Winker takes a fastball on the outside. Very good pitch there by Stroman. Another good pitch, but Winker fouling it off. Winker had a very poor season last year out in Seattle, part of a big trade with Eugenio Suarez to bring him from Cincinnati to Seattle. Winker had high expectations out in Seattle rather for the Mariners. But could never really live up to them, and getting traded for Colton Wong this past offseason. It's a slider inside. Going Abraham Toro, the other piece of that Winker to Brewers trade, as he'll look at that sinker inside. And a backwards K for Stroman's 5th strikeout. A beautifully placed pitch by Stroman. Stroman just dotting up the former high school draft pick. It's Anderson. Take a slider on the outside. Anderson was a 20th round pick in 2011 by the Twins. A few declined signing, going to Arkansas, where he was later signed. Received some Rookie of the Year votings back in 2018 as Stroman. Pitch inside, a 2-0 count. Anderson, a very good utility piece. Of course, a rocket of an arm out and third and right. He'll chip one, and that one, a lucky base hit, bouncing right off the bag and harmlessly rolling into the glove of Happ. It's Anderson will stand on first. Garrett Mitchell now up to the plate. Mitchell, a former top prospect, hoping to really fulfill that status as a top prospect and do good work for the Brewers. Mitchell settling in. Low sinker there. Mitchell incredibly quick on the base paths. A lot of very quick people out in baseball today. Mitchell among those. As he'll fly one out into left, and another harmless play to happen in left field, but Rowdy Tellez not so harmless with his own bat, mashing one deep into right field for a 3-0 lead. Brewers working like a well-oiled machine here against the Cubbies. Now, coming into the batter's box is Andrew Swanson. Swanson, one of the big pieces to leave the Braves in recent years. Of course, Freddie Freeman, another big piece, left in free agency a few years back, is right there. The slider inside will go in as a strike. Of course, the Braves winning the full-blown... They won the World Series just a few years back, so the cutter inside will be a ball. Swanson really could have been considered one of the hearts of that Braves team. So foul one off. Swanson was really just a very solid shortstop for them. Someone who maybe didn't fully live up to his potential as Adames charging in, the throw and the out. Very nice defensive play by Willie Adames to charge in and get that laser of a throw. Dansby Swanson fairly quick on his feet, but not quick enough to avoid being thrown out by Adames. Now Patrick Wisdom will check into the ball game.
Inside, ball
The slider inside. See the shift, apply to shift rules changing this past season. Of course, shift formally really working against some left-handed hitters especially. Now, of course, we need two infielders on each side of the bag. Now, check swing way outside on that 95-mile-per-hour cutter. Nearing the top of the velocity range for Burns. His cutter is right there. Can't pull the trigger on a beautiful pitch right down the middle from Burns. Burns doing a great job as Christopher Morel checks it. Morel still fairly young. Another piece of this Cubs rebuild that I'm sure that the Chicago fans not really looking to be a long-time part of. Chip that one. Anderson throwing him out. And that'll be an easy end to the fourth inning. Corbin Burns managing to clock out the Cubs. Still only one hit for the Cubbies. And welcome back to more opening day baseball as we check in here to the top of the fifth inning. Strelman still pitching fairly well today despite the 2 home runs given up earlier. Now checking in Tyrone Taylor for his second at-bat. Throwing 65 pitches so far on the day, but very effective on the strikeout front as Taylor swinging and missing through that slider. See Brandon Hughes and Mark Leiter Jr. preparing out in the bullpen for the Cubs. No action quite yet for the Brewers in their pen. And now, the pitch swinging low at a slider there. Strowman has been very effective so far today. 5 hits given up, 1 walk. But of course, those 2 home runs are 2 of those 5 hits. Is right there. The sinker goes low. Taylor still preparing in the batter's box. Slider outside. Of course, you gotta wonder if you're Tyrone Taylor, maybe it could be nearing the end of his Brewers tenure. Brewers have a lot of good outfield prospects. Right there. Chopped and perfectly placed to get past the middle infielders. Right there. So far with a performance like this, can't be mad for Tyrone Taylor. 2 for 2. 2 ground ball singles. Really just perfectly placing the bat on the ball as David Ross will come in. He'll remove Marcus Stroman. Stroman pitching a strong game, but Ross a little bit worried about his pitch count and the fact that he has given up 6 hits, but Still very well for him. Is now checking in Adrian Sampson. Coming in, Sampson, the 5th round pick by the Pirates, and 2012 out of Bellevue College. Traded for J.A. Happ to the Mariners in 2015, ended up being claimed off of waivers by Texas prior to the 2018 season, and signed with the Cubs 1 year or 2 years back. So now Terang following that one off. Sampson, a pretty average pitcher, just a reliable hand in the bullpen, never going to wow you with anything. But Sampson, a solid piece out there. And popping up is Terang, that cutter coming inside, just what it's meant to do, and popping up, easy catch for Trey Mancini. Bryce Terang retired, still no hits so far in his Brewers career. Of course, still a long time to go if you are a Brewers fan, hopefully. Christian Yelich will check in. Yelich, the long-time Mariner, checks in, fires, skied out into left field. That'll be an easy play for Happ, firing it into Swanson, and that'll be the 2nd out. Sampson retired 2 Brewers in quick order.
The catcher,
Now it'll be William Contreras, coming in 3 pitches to get 2 outs. Gotta be happy if you are the Cubs. You've been working through the Brewers pretty quickly, and you've made the Brewers pitchers work. You made the Brewers pitcher their all-star pitcher, their ace of the roster, one of the best pitchers in the show. Will have you worked in that first inning, especially. Let's some back as Contreras swings through that high fastball.
No, inside.
Inside one will be missed though. Contreras not taking a swing at that one. Taylor at first. Contreras going to harmlessly foul that one off. Brewers have a strong outfield core for the future. Sal Frelick, Joey Weimer, and Jackson Churio, all top-end prospects waiting in the wings. As Contreras skying that one also to left. Ian Happ getting a lot of work so far in today's game. Will easily catch that one for the 3rd out. Adrian Sampson, strong work so far today. Seiya Suzuki will be leading things off. Suzuki, Bellinger, Mancini in for the bottom of the 5th inning. Suzuki, the only hit so far for the Cubs, coming off of the bat of Suzuki. A single right up the middle is Burns, and missed low with a curveball. Suzuki, one of the best players in Japan for 6 of his 8 years out in Hiroshima. He'll foul that one off. 6-time winner of the best of 9, basically saying that he was, well, one of the best players at his position in the NPB as a foul off that way. 5-time All-Star, 2016, 17, 18, and 19, as well as his final year in Japan, as he swings and misses through that one. Burns retiring the former All-Star right there easily. And speaking of former All-Stars, former MVPs, Cody Bellinger coming in. Bellinger coming off of 2 very poor seasons out in the batter's box for Los Angeles. He is caught up a little bit on that curveball right down the middle. Shifted on him. Bellinger, someone who can really benefit from the shift. It's right there. He'll check swing through that one. Of course, in his MVP season, an over 1,000 OPS, but the past 2 years struggling to get over 650 in either of the past 2 seasons. Bellinger, a solid hand in the outfield, and Adames ranging over on that 82-mile-per-hour line drive. Bellinger retiring off of that nice piece of opposite field hitting. Able to flash the leather. That one. Bring up Trey Mancini. Out on the first pitch, and he'll continue to swing at the first pitch, and Terang will easily catch that pop out. So we end the 5th inning. Corbin Burns pitching a gem so far today. Only 1 hit given up. We head on to more Brewers baseball. Willie Adames checking in for the Brewers. Adames in his first half season with the Brewers, an 8.86 OPS, very strong performance, but Adames takes the ball there. Never really too much of a batting average guy. So right there, looks like some movement coming in for the Brewers bullpen. Adames, his career high batting average for a season, a 2.78, as he takes the outside sinker from Sampson. 2.78 in his rookie season back in 2018 for the Rays. Now, Sampson hits. High ball there. Sampson trying to compose himself a little bit. Down with a 3-0 count. Adames been very patient at the plate so far today. Something that he is not all too well known for. Adames a bit of a strikeout machine. Sampson, pitch will be just inside, clipping the edge of the strike zone. 3-1 pitch from Sampson will be way low. Adames will take that 5-pitch walk. Adames happy for that as Rowdy Tellez checks in. So far a perfect 5,000 OPS. And if you're Tellez, you gotta be hoping that you can keep that up. Circle change, inside misses. Adames taking the lead off at first. Sampson pitching, and the inside cutter. Cutter right down the middle, really. Will be fouled off. Pretty weak contact on that one. And Tellez nailing one into right, the right field corner. And Tellez, the stand-up double, and Adames will score. Rowdy Tellez. Very strong performance in his opening day. And just a perfect shot right down the right field line. Easy stand-up double for the big man, Willie Adames, scoring from first. Adrian Sampson walking out, and right here we go back to the second inning. Jesse Winkers started off his Brewers career with a bang, nailing a 2-run dinger just over the right field wall, that high right field wall for the Cubs. Tellez at second. Sampson, 16th pitch of his day, nailed deep into the outfield. Bellinger ranging back, he will camp under it, and Tellez going for third, and he'll manage to get in there. Tellez, not the quickest of foot, not the speediest runner out there, but that ball deep enough to be tagged up on Brian Anderson. That very tricky single back in the fourth inning. Looking to score Tellez from third to be on an outfield hit.
Ball, that's out.
Right there, sinker outside. Anderson checking into his 7th year in the majors.
Nope, that's
right there, sinker. A little bit of a close call. Fans not quite agreeing with that. Taking a look over to third.
That's ball 3.
So far, Sampson not getting the greatest control of his pitches here in this inning. There'll be another 3-0 count. Had the 3-0 count earlier on Adames. Now a 3-0 count on Anderson. Anderson checking in, taking a deep breath. Sampson looking over to Tellez.
Ball 4.
And a high ball, 4-pitch walk for Anderson. Come into first base. Brian Anderson, with 2 important Brian Andersons on the Brewers. Of course, the Fox Sports announcer, Brian Anderson. A lot of people very appreciative of him in the business, but now the baseball player, Brian Anderson, going to be on first for Garrett Mitchell. First pitch swing will be line foul. Behind on a fastball. Mitchell still looking for his first hit in the 2023 season. Speedy center fielder swings at a low sinker. Sampson, good confidence so far coming up against Garrett Mitchell. Mitchell, really someone that the Brewers are going to be looking forward to utilizing. As the slider will be way inside. Mitchell getting a little bit of a dig in the right-hand corner. In the right-hand batter's box. Now, Chip Swanson over to Horner, and the speedy Mitchell grabbed, just taken out by half a step. The double play saves a run. Dansby Swanson and Nico Horner saving the run. And a beautiful play by the middle infield. Right there, barely getting out Garrett Mitchell, the speedy center fielder. Jan Gomes comes back to the plate. Gomes rounded out in the third inning. Coming in for his second plate appearance. We'll look at a sinker. Gomes, part of a Washington team in 2018. Actually, I believe, part of the Washington team that won the World Series. He's also a Silver Slugger in 2014 and an All-Star in 2018. Both with Cleveland, as he will foul that one off. Just rolling a foul for Gomes. Gomes has been a very reliable backstop in his long career. So he'll chip away at another one. Age 35 season coming up right now. Been playing since he was 24, 11 years out in the show for the Brazilian.
2 strikes.
And Brazil, not the biggest talent pool for major league players. His changeup will be way low. Gomes managing to perform very well as he pops that one up. Taylor ranging to his right. And camp under for the easy fly out. Burns still pitching very well today, but of course his pitch count getting a little bit high. Craig Counsell out in the dugout thinking maybe it's getting around time to retire Burns for the day. 80 pitches so far in this gem. An opening day start for Burns. Nico Horner checks in. Horner really the catalyst behind Burns' long day. Had that 9-pitch at bat in the first. Ended up with a walk. It's right there, slider low. So far, great start for Burns. He'll swing that one. Mitchell diving and bounces off the heel of his glove. Mitchell not quite able to make the play there. Nico Horner getting the second hit of the day. Burns, strong performance, 2 hits given up, 1 walk, 5 Ks on 85 pitches. Burns already with the quality start. 5 innings of work. Counsell looking to ride his starter out for a 6th inning of work. There. Cubs mascot trying to hype up the crowd for a 6th inning rally. Settling the box. Horner managing to get the easy steal there. Nico Horner, first pitch swiping the bag. Great work there by the speedy second baseman. Of course, this has got to help out the Cubs' confidence. Circle change inside. And Happ very well loved by the Cubs. We can even see some Brewers making the short trek down south for the Wrigley Field day. Wrigley Field, a unique experience as a curveball will push Happ off of the plate. Wrigley Field, one of the most beloved fields in the majors, is right there. Happ will fly this one. Yelich easily coming in and will lob it over to third. That'll be 2 outs to bring up Dansby Swanson. Swanson's having a huge deal this offseason with the Cubs. I believe a 6-year deal. He'll come in. Swanson really looking to be a cornerstone of this Cubs roster for a long time, as he'll fly that one just off the top of the wall. Swanson, one-time All-Star just last year. Burns.
Ball one.
Throw a cutter way outside. Coming up on 90 pitches now is the former Cy Young. That one is chop foul. Of course, Brewers maybe a little bit lucky that that rolled foul. That would have been a very tough play for Contreras to make, and he'll swing and miss at the curveball. Corbin Burns dialing up the former All-Star, the former champion. We head into the 7th inning for more opening day baseball here on the show. Welcome back to the show for our opening day broadcast of Brewers baseball. I am Slayer Mathis, your host for tonight. Adrian Sampson with the outside cutter on Tyrone Taylor. Brandon Hughes, Adbert Alzolay on the bullpen for the Cubs. A 4-0 game so far for the Brewers. And right now, looks like maybe there is preparation for Corbin Burns' day to end. Tyrone Taylor checking in, had 2 ground ball singles early in the game, and that one a very questionable call, but the Brewers and Tyrone Taylor looking to benefit off of that. Now, knocked into the gap, a very nice play there, and Tyrone Taylor going to slide into second for a double. Tyrone Taylor 100% on his plate appearances today. 2 singles and a double. That one, the first one, that was a liner, and that one screaming into that left center gap. Of course, did not bounce off of that awkward curve in the wall, but Bellinger managing to throw it in quickly to Bryce Turang. Still looking for his first major league hit. Kick and set from Sampson will be fouled off. Turang, a former top prospect in his own right. Really looking to be someone who the Brewers are going to build around as he'll swing and miss at the circle change. Brewers with a lot of speed on the roster. Turang, one of the many with that threatening speed. Kicks and sets, fouling off four-seam fastball. Sampson locking in on these young guns, but against some of the more veteran presences, Sampson has been struggling a little bit. So taking advantage of some of these youngins as Turang will look at his slider. It's very close to him. I'm sure some people out there in the fans thinking maybe Turang should have just leaned into that one. You know, lead into it, take the hit by pitch, save yourself the 0-2 count, especially if you answer with a strikeout on that outside slider. Or, sorry, outside sinker. Very nice play there, very nice pitch there from Sampson as Yelich will check back in. Yelich with Miami for a number of seasons, now a Brewer. His first pitch swing will miss on the fastball. Yelich traded in 2018 for 4 prospects, none of which are still in the Marlins system. In fact, one of them, Monte Harrison, back in the Brewers system. Yelich a 2-time All-Star in 2019 and 2020, as well as winning the Golden Glove in 2014. Coming into his age 31 season, Yelich, someone who has quickly fallen off from being one of the best hitters in baseball, had a 1.100 OPS back in his second place MVP season in 2019, and a 1,000 OPS in his MVP winning season. As Yelich hit deep into right field, ranging back, that'll be caught by Suzuki. Taylor easily able to range, able to tag over to third bases. Now it brings up William Contreras. Contreras 0 for 3 on the day, 5 in the 5th in his last appearance. Contreras take advantage of Sampson. Sampson having a good performance so far in relief as we'll get Contreras to swing at the low outside cutter. Now looking at the inside pitch. Contreras, 25 years old, will be the catcher of the future for the Brewers. Now that one, well outside, 1-2 count. Contreras mashes lefties very well, but against righties, still a very respectable hitter. Is right there. Will be an outside pitch. Of course, catcher, one of the most difficult positions in all of sports, you gotta think. It's definitely the most difficult in baseball as Contreras swings and misses through that inside sinker. That'll do it for the 7th inning. We go into the 7th inning stretch. Brewers 4, Cubs 0.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please.
And Corbin Burns' day is done as we bring out Adrian Hauser for the first relief appearance for the Brewers in this season. 2011 second-round pick out of Locust Grove High School by the Houston Astros, ended up being part of the Carlos Gomez trade back in 2015. Gomez and Mike Fiers to Houston. That's right there. The changeup will be in there for a strike. And it being Mike Fiers, Carlos Gomez to Houston for Josh Hader, Adrian Hauser, Domingo Santana, and Brett Phillips is right there. Another pitch. Hauser so far dealing to Patrick Wisdom in his first appearance on the year. Hauser, the 30-year-old, coming to the season as the curveball will be fouled away by Wisdom. Hauser, just a reliable piece in the pen for the Brewers. As a swing and a miss, that'll be a strikeout in his first pitching appearance for the day. First batter face will be punched out as Christopher Morel checks in. Hauser really almost working as that 6th starter role. Should someone be injured, Adrian Hauser, one of the top people thought to be put into the rotation, as Morel will hold up on an inside fastball. Morel still very young. There's a sinker out there. Hauser on just on fire so far, as Morel will swing and miss. The 23-year-old punched out. That'll do it for him. Now Seiya Suzuki comes in once again for the Cubs. Suzuki had the first hit of the game. First hit and really the last hit for 5 innings is now dialing one deep. Mitchell ranging over, and the speedy Mitchell will be able to get that catch. And that'll do it for the 7th inning. Willie Adames, Rowdy Tellez, Jesse Winker. Coming up for the Brewers, Adrian Hauser, a good inning of work there by the Brewers penmate. As now Brandon Hughes will come into the game for the Cubs. Hughes, a 16th rounder for the Cubs in 2017 out of Michigan State. The former Spartan taking the mound. Made his debut last year for the Cubbies with a solid season there. Now Adames checking in. Swing and a miss through there. Brandon Hughes, the southpaw. 3.12 ERA in his past season of work. Looking to continue his good career. A little bit of a late debut for Hughes. Just 27 years old in his 2nd season of work. Is right there, blowing a fastball past Adames. Adames 0 for 2 so far on the day. Did draw a walk in his last plate appearance. Hughes, 0-2 pitch, low for a fastball. Adames has swung at those in the earlier parts of this game, but no dice here. And now, a little bit of an USB swing. And an easy play, a little bit of a high throw, but Mancini able to get him out. Trey Mancini out on first base right now. One of the more inspiring stories in all of baseball is Rowdy Tellez comes in. 2 RBIs on the day so far. Trey Mancini, an 8th round pick in 2013 by the Orioles, was beloved by the Orioles until his trade in the trade deadline rather of 2022. And 3-team trade, a lot of prospects being sent out and about. Rays getting involved in that trade, and there being a free agent in the offseason, and signed with the Cubs as a sinker outside will miss. Of course, Mancini, someone who is very inspiring because of that 2020 year for him, managing to beat cancer. And of course, Mancini is still cancer-free. We gotta hope for, really, if you're just a baseball fan in general, that he manages to keep us up as Tellez swinging through that high fastball. Of course, been meaning to talk about this, but Mancini, very aggressive at the batter's box so far today. Now Hughes will punch out Tellez. Tellez, his first time having his first plate appearance, not resulting in him getting on base. Jesse Winker will come in 1 for 3 so far on the day. Struck out in his second appearance. And the low pitch will be in for a strike. Abraham Toro, also acquired in the Jesse Winker to Milwaukee deal, currently in AAA Nashville for the Brewers, as the second pitch will be swung on through. Very nice changeup there for Hughes. And Winker going to take advantage. 0-2 count. Hughes pitching very well so far today. And Winker swinging through. Brandon Hughes pitching a gem of relief out here for the Cubs. And to the bottom of the 8th inning, Cubs still need a rally to get things really going. Cody Bellinger, someone who definitely has experience starting rallies. He has a championship ring under his belt. Hauser throwing that sinker ball right down low. Bellinger, someone who really struggles with left-handed pitching. However, the Brewers not utilizing that today, and really something that the Brewers, I've heard, are really looking into. A lot of right-handed relievers, and not too much in terms of lefties. Wade Miley and Eric Lauer, really 2 of the only notable lefties in the roster for the Brewers. And right there, a questionable call. Bellinger arguing with the ump a little bit, but going to stop the argument before things get too heated. And Contreras maybe helping things out by quickly throwing the ball around. Mancini comes back in. Mancini, first time not making contact with a pitch so far in this game. Mancini, aggressive, hasn't worked out for him. He grounded out and popped out. The 0-1 pit
1-1
will be evened out off of the slider.
2 balls,
And
1
another
strike.
pitch outside. This past season, a 710 OPS. Very solid. Had a struggle of a season with Houston. Hauser getting Mancini to foul it off. Mancini, really one of the only bright spots of a very rough, trend of years for Baltimore. Was 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting back in 2017. Now the 31-year-old looking to rebound his career. Popped high into the outfield. Mitchell ranging over and will easily grab that for the 2nd out of the inning. Hauser managing to knock out another batter as Yan Gomes, the veteran, checks back in. Yan Gomes, one of the older people on either roster. Both teams here quite young, as the fastball outside will be looked at for strike 1. Hauser working efficiently as ranging over is Anderson, and launching it across the diamond easy ground ball out from Brian Anderson, who will get the first at bat in the top of the ninth. We head here to the end of opening day baseball. Brian Anderson had that single in the fourth inning, but as well as a 4-pitch walk in his last at bat. Now facing off against a lefty for the first time in his Brewers career. First pitch fouled off, a laser of a ball by Anderson. Hughes settling in. I'd say he's settling in quite well. Anderson fouling off another one. Fans out here in Wrigley getting a lot of souvenirs, lots of fouled off pitches in today's game. That one will be outside the third fastball of the at-bat. Hughes pitching very well in relief so far. Right there, a high fastball up around the neck. Height. High pitches, very risky throw, and right there, an off-speed pitch will be slapped into right field. Anderson getting his second base hit of the day. Meanwhile, Garrett Mitchell looking for his first at bat for what is hopefully a full season up in the majors, and hopefully for him the first of many of such seasons. And this one will be popped up very harmlessly for Swanson, who will grab it.
The right fielder, number 15.
Swanson playing very good defense so far today, part of two separate 6-4-3 double plays. It's Tyrone Taylor looking to keep up his 1,000 batting average on the year so far. Of course, having 1,000 batting average for a season, literally impossible to have, just the way that baseball works. Is right there, the high fastball will be out for ball one. Taylor settling in. Two singles and a double as he fouls that one back against the screen. Ball boy going to give that to a lucky fan out here in the crowd. And again, lots of souvenirs, even some for the outfielders, with the 2 home runs by the Brewers. And swinging a high fastball is Taylor. Hughes doing very well so far. Second year pro out of Michigan State. Doing very well with his pitching chops, managing to strike out a few. It's right there, that one barely missing. Brian Anderson, the only hit on Hughes so far. Looking back, Anderson is chopped foul. Taylor's got to know that there's a lot of young blood coming up. Of course, 3 of the best, really 4 of the best prospects in the Brewers system are outfielders, as flied out. Suzuki will retire Tyrone Taylor for the first time in today's game.
Second base.
Tyrone Taylor likely his last at-bat. Had a very good day so far today. However, has not scored in any of his 3 plate appearances. As Bryce Terang 0 for 4 so far in his major league career. The second baseman will take the strike inside. Terang, a rangy infielder, someone who could potentially play some shortstop in the future, should that be needed, as that one will be fouled off. Works with Adames there at short. Not exactly somewhere that Terang can really take over. Adames, a little bit of a more established piece in the future. And right there, a beautiful pitch by Brandon Hughes will punch out Bryce Terang. And now the Cubs, lying on top of the order, Nico Horner, Ian Happ, Dansby Swanson, for their final push towards winning this game. A 9th inning rally needed as Adrian Hauser will come in for his 3rd inning of work. Nico Horner got the base hit off of that dive attempt by Garrett Mitchell back in the 6th. Swung on and missed. Not swung on, just watched from that middle of the plate sinker. And Mitchell easily jogging it over for the catch. 1 out for the Cubs. Ian Happ now coming in. 0 for 3 so far on the day for the last year All-Star. Happ not part of that Cubs team that won the World Series. Most of that core no longer present on the team. This has been quite a few years since, but Ian Happ looking to hope to bring another championship to Chicago. It's right there, the 0-2 count. Hauser pitching very well in relief for the Brew Crew. Settling in, the 0-2 pitch. Hauser looking for a 3-pitch K on Happ. Will not get it. Sinker going a little bit outside. Hauser pitch number 26 so far on the day. That will be way low. Bouncing on in, Contreras nicely blocked. Curveball will be fouled off. Just chipped foul by Happ. Happ, a quick riser to the majors, is now another move, just bounce in. Hauser losing a little bit of grip on his pitches. Now, full count. Will be well outside. Happ will walk.
The batter, number 7.
Hauser a little bit upset with himself as Dansby Swanson comes in. Swanson someone with a lot of experience, especially in these high leverage situations, as now Cubs looking to hype up the crowd, but Craig Counsell coming out. And we'll be calling for Matt Bush to come on into the game. Matt Bush, a former first overall pick out of Mission Bay High School in 2004 by the Padres. However, said that he had a little bit of a rough career. A bit of an understatement. Purchased by Toronto in 2009. Has played with Texas and Tampa. Right there. We'll get the first out. We'll get the first strike, rather. Part of the 2022 trade deadline for Mark Mathias and Antoine Kelly. Matt Bush looking to continue to be a veteran presence, as right there, 12-6 curve will punch out Swanson. The 37-year-old still got it. Bush really just kind of going to show how difficult baseball can be at times. Bush, a very solid reliever, but it took him a long time to get to that point. 2016, a rookie year, a full 12 years after being drafted. He finally made the show as a first overall draft pick. It's right there, Wisdom swinging through that one. Bush, one strike away from punching out the Cubs. And Wisdom will be punched out indeed. The Cubs losing an opening day as the Brewers pick a 4-0 win off the bats of Rowdy Tellez and Jesse Winker, as well as the arm of Corbin Burns as we see him walking out right now. A very strong performance on opening day by your Milwaukee Brewers as a 4-0 win, 9 hits, as well as a few walks on the docket for the Brewers. Will finish off their opening day festivities, and that will be it for me here on MLB The Show. I'm Slayer Mets, and I'm glad that you have joined me for this full game broadcast of Brewers baseball. We'll look at some of the highlights from this game. A very strong performance from the Brewers, managing to punch out the Cubs, and something that Brewers fans are going to be very happy about. That'll do it for me here at MLB The Show.